Yo, what is going on, guys? Winter Kills here, and welcome to a very special video today. And I believe if everything goes according to plan, this should be getting uploaded on the 25th. So, happy holidays, Merry Christmas, everybody celebrating. Hope you enjoy this little gift of a video, because today I'm joined with somebody very special, the one and only Aerosol TCG. Good to have you here. Good to have you here.
Yeah, Merry Christmas, everybody.
Thank you for, first of all, doing this video with me. I really appreciate that. I'm sure a lot of people will be very excited to see us working on a video together with this deck. So,
yeah, bro. Show me them roids.
yes, sir. All right. For those watching at home, I am basically going to screen share my deck list. I mean, we basically have very similar deck lists, but I'm screen sharing him my deck list right now over Discord. And one of the first things we wanted to talk about in this video, particularly because this video will be broken up into various segments. You can check the description for the timestamps, or the time limit itself should be broken up into segments as well. And this is something you actually brought up to me the other day. And it's interesting because when you think about Grand Creators, you think about Brave Token, you think about the new splashable engine that decks like Prank Kids, Phantom Knights, etc. Are all looking to put into their engine with all the other spell cards and stuff that go with it. But you brought up specifically the Wandering Gryphon Rider, and I remember when you told me about this, I was like, wait a second, are we playing the whole Brave Token engine? Because I know you can't like use normal summon monsters or something the turn you use the spell card, like the Rite of Aramesia. So I was like, I don't know how this will work, but you're like, no, just the Wandering Gryphon Rider. And, when you look at it, it's basically if you control no monsters or Brave tokens, you can just quick effect special summon it, and it becomes kind of like a pseudo Butterfly versus Hasty Horse. So I want to let you go ahead right now and basically talk about why you think this card might have a good spot in the deck going forward post Grand Creators.
I think it's basically the first level 7 extender we ever had, like first wind level 7 extender. And this is what makes it good, obviously, because with the level 3 tuners, you can go into a Baron pretty early in the combo, just like with a car. It's a 2-card Baron.
Mm-hmm.
And after that, still have your normal summon can combo off.
Yeah.
And it's also interesting because it doesn't conflict with Nibiru or with Gamma. So, for example, you could go Chainlink 1 Gryphon Rider, Chainlink 2 Nibiru, and then Nibiru their board. And the Gryphon Rider comes out as Chainlink 1. And usually, like when we would play Butterfly, it's kind of conflicting with the nib. So it never felt good, like playing both, like Butterfly, Terratop, and Nibiru all at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Going
Yeah.
second.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and about Gamma, it's a similar story. Like you can try to use Wheel, and then if they interrupt it, if they ash it or something, then you can chain Gamma and chain Gryphon Rider as Chainlink, right? And
Yeah,
then
chain link.
Gryphon
Yeah.
Rider comes out.
Mm-hmm.
So that's pretty cool.
Yeah. And one thing I noted specifically, actually, while we were talking right before we started recording, is one thing that I've grown accustomed to, because, well, I guess it goes a little further back than that, because originally I was playing the red-haired Hasty Horse. Like I see a lot of people still actually on this card, and I see why, because of like Hasty Horse, like Primitive Butterfly, and Gryphon Rider, like of those three cards as just being like, we'll just call them wind extenders. Hasty Horse technically has the freest summoning condition. But Aerosol, when we chat last time, like a couple weeks ago, you brought up the Primitive Butterfly to me, and I for a moment, like I was like, is it really better than Hasty Horse? But you brought up the whole level manipulation effect, so you can go into Baron with it and Piper. It's still a level 5, like Hasty Horses, for those easy Kite Drake plays going second, and we know how good those are against some decks, because people literally just outright do not expect basically a Dark Ruler for all their face-up cards, or just a Black Rose Dragon. Slightly better Black Rose because it doesn't destroy itself. And then,
Primitive
yeah, go ahead.
plus are like super strong against the Sword Soul board right now.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, because it either deals with both Shizhou and the Blackout, because they have to just pop like the primitive and the cut turbo.
Mm.
Or they have to do something weird like Baron negate the cut turbo, which is also good because then you start trading like one for ones. You don't want to trade two for ones, right? You don't want to go into two resources into a rubber band shooter, it gets negated, and you go two for one. It's
Yeah.
bad.
Absolutely. And the other thing too with like the butterfly is like I remember the one example you brought up was the Dragon Link deck going into seals, where butterfly basically just out seals for the free because its ability to special summon itself is not a once per turn. Yes, you need no cards, or no face up, or no monsters, but it's still, you know, you can contest seals for free, which is one of their better interruptions they are able to put up. And you can also technically against like the bird up deck too. If if they have a very weak Robin too, you can contest that.
Yeah, yeah, that's a big one. Yeah, they can't just like, I mean, they can bounce it,
Yeah.
but
If
then you just special it again. It's
mm,
like similar to Terratop. It's also not a hard once per turn on the summoning condition.
yep.
Yeah, and then what I never really liked about Hasty Horse, it's like really get away with it because people don't really read the card until the end.
Hmm.
And but a lot of people, but it's pretty easy to out for many decks.
Yeah.
Um, like just like an Eldritch deck can summon a Conquistador into its zone and then pop like if you go like Hasty Horse, car turbo to go for Kite Drake, then they can Conquistador pop the car and just summon it in the Hasty Horse zone and they get rid of both monsters.
Yeah. For
Same
free.
with the Shadows, they can summon Winder, Prankets, they can summon Prankets.
Hmm.
Um, the Flanderies matchup can just normal summon into like
Yep.
so many decks actually can now play on the opponent's turn, and I think future more decks will be able to play on the opponent's turn. That this card is probably getting weaker and weaker.
Yeah, and also another thing to note too is like the Tri Brigade Leerlust deck, and I've seen this firsthand because my brother's actually been playing the deck as of late. When that deck ends on its full combo, there is no zone to summon Hasty Horse in. So like
Right.
imagine you're playing against that deck and you maybe didn't see, you know, enough going second cards as you were hoping to see, and now Hasty Horse is either in your hand or it's your sixth, and it's completely dead. So just have that to think about in the back of your head for those that still want to play Hasty
Everybody's
Horse.
playing around Mechanics and is killing Hasty Horse in the process.
Exactly, because I mean, shout outs to Larry in my Discord. Mech Knights are a very real deck. Even got top at the remote YCS recently. So
Oh, that's sick. That's
yeah.
sick.
Um. So yeah. I think we're both very very interested in trying out the Wandering Gryphon Rider going forward. In post Grand Creators. It's also hopefully a nice rarity upgrade. Because Hasty Horse, Primitive, all common. So I'm a kind of a rarity fiend. So I would like to see us get like maybe an ultra or secret rare Gryphon Rider, not a common one.
Yeah, I think in these side sets there's usually only like what are they doing? Supers and secrets.
Mhm.
So
Yeah. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. So but now the next thing we can do is if you want to, we can go ahead and jump into our little test hand game that we're gonna do.
sure, sure.
All right, and I'll explain to the viewers real quickly. For those that don't know what we're gonna do, I'm going to draw a hand here on DB, and then Aerosol will basically play out that same exact hand as well, and then we'll save our replays, and then we'll go over them one by one, and basically compare the results and how different they looked. Be a cool little thing to do. So, yeah, we'll go ahead and cut to that now. Okay, this is a hand.
Alright, this is looking good.
I love seeing these two cards together. Gotta love Nib Imperm. Nothing feels better than playing against a Sword Soul deck and you see you have Nib Imperm or Gamma Nib and you're just like they normal mode. You're like, yep, it's fine. Go ahead, do your whole board, and then before you leave main one, Nibiru, Baron Negate, Chain Imperm, GG. Happens all the time.
Dude, getting a high roll with uh, Duke.
Yeah.
Uh, this card is so insane. Like 5 or 6 are just such good options here.
Hmm.
So let me check really quick your hand. You had Wheel, Imperm, and what are the other two cards?
Wheel, Imperm, Duke, Nib, and Tekatomborg.
I don't have a nib right now in my deck, but let me just add a draw instead.
Yeah,
It
you can
should
add
be
any hand traps, fine.
okay, I'm just gonna add an Ash so that I also have a non-wind hand trap.
Mm-hmm. All right. How safely do I want to play this out here?
Kinda awkward.
Because, like, I want to wheel pitch Duke, but if
It gets Ash. Oh damn.
yeah.
Yeah.
All right, I have my idea here. We're just gonna do this. All right, everybody. So we are back, and this is the hand that Dueling Book decided to deal us today. Now Aerosol is not on Nibiru. My hand was the same, except the Ash was a Nibiru. So he just swapped it for another non-wind hand trap, and he elected to have his test hand go first. So I'll let you take it away here in terms of like the thought process and everything.
Let's skip the first. Yeah, just skip a little bit because I'm just like goofing around, right?
Okay.
I'm thinking about if I want to discard the Duke or not. Yeah, but I don't want to play into the Ash because if we get Ashed here, then there's basically no play. But it didn't matter anyway because we roll a 1, so we would have died to Ash anyway. And I really didn't want to roll a 1. A 2 would have been better because I normal summoned the Takatomborg, and I thought, okay, if I normal it, I can add it back. I can add another one later and tag out into a dice and go for a cork line. But now I actually summon the dice from deck, so I can't even do that anymore. So it was like double bad. Alright, so now we go for the rubber band shooter, of course, and I'm gonna banish a level 6.
Okay. That's what I was expecting you to go for there.
I was considering a little bit between 5 and 6. I think this is the riskier one because I really don't want to get dog here. I want the dog follow-up. I want to get Takatomborg and then get the dog follow-up, but I don't want to get dog in this hand.
Yeah. 'Cause I feel that too, because there's sometimes where like going for this seems really enticing. But then like going for the 5 to get like a guaranteed normal summon search also is like really good. But like sometimes I just do not want to get rid of like either Chambara or Hagoita from the extra deck.
This option is really good if you have either dice or Duke in the grave. And then you can basically, even when you get the dog, you can just dump the other one and still go for a cork play.
So you do get the dog here.
Yeah, and I do get the dog. Yeah.
Oh man, nothing went your way this hand.
Yeah.
Follow the dog. Up the trap.
Yeah, and I decide for the dice here. I really want to get to a decent disruption, right? Alright. Okay, so I'm gonna make the dog level 5.
Okay.
This way we can reduce it by 1 with the gate, and then it's level 4, and after that we have a Hagoita play, right?
Yep. Okay.
So now we go into Hagoita, get the Stardust Charge draw, and here I actually do get lucky. I draw a
Ooh,
copy
nice.
of Vela. So it's actually a disruption.
Very nice.
Yeah, even with this terrible luck, I mean, it was a good hand, but a good hand with terrible luck, we were able to get to 4 disruptions, including the hand traps, of course. And we have the dog Hagoita follow-up, which is, yeah, it's always a rank 8 play, or even if we use Hagoita next turn, we could potentially even tag out to a Chambara.
Yep.
That's pretty cool.
Not even a bad end result there. I love going. This is why I love Charge War in the deck, because like getting those free draws mid combo is just like so clutch sometimes.
Yeah, and in this end it was really free. I mean, you could have even ended on Juju against some decks. Like some decks just can't out a Juju. Like for example, Guru is good example. Like, what are they gonna do against the Juju? Like,
Mm-hmm.
even if they play the Red Eyes fusion package, they can't even pop it.
Yeah, I think actually in the last week of One Deck 1 Month, I was playing against an invoked Dragoon deck, and I had to say, like, Juju, like, I messed up so terribly in that game, but like Juju bought me a couple turns that I did not deserve to have. So like this card is very, very clutch.
Yeah, it always hurts to banish.
Mm-hmm. All right, so
All right.
that was your test hand. Now I will admit I did have a little bit better luck. I'm not even gonna lie. So
Let's see it. Let's see it.
So similar thought process here is like whenever I see a hand like this, I don't want to discard Duke to the grave and then like you said have it get ashed and then really not have a play to follow up there. So
Yeah.
I did something a little different right off the bat. So it took me a little while to think here, but I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna ditch the Nibiru, because like it all depends. Like if this is game 2 and I know Nib's really good against the deck I'm playing against, I might just pitch the Imperm. But like if it's also blind, I don't know how good Nibiru might be, so I'm just probably gonna hold the Imperm. And also with this too, if I do make a Shen with this particular board, I know I have a different like typing in the graveyard now to be able to bring it back on the next turn. So
it's a pretty Shen reborn. It's really good.
oh yeah.
Honestly, game 1, I would have, if I had Nib in hand, I would have 100% done the same.
Mm-hmm. And you rolled a 1, I rolled a 6, so must be nice. Yep.
Yeah.
So here I actually go ahead and summon the Piper and the Marble Machine.
Nice.
And I think from here I decided to normal summon the Duke.
Okay.
And I was debating on like not normal summoning and just going right into Rubber Band Shooter and maybe going for an Auroradon route, but I figured I could probably do a little bit more if I committed because like I want to get the Duke Engrave without like using Tekatomborg on that. So I was like, you know what? I'll just get it on board right now and link off with it. And here I accidentally what's that?
Let's summon number 3.
Yeah, this is summon number 3 right here.
So the next summon is safe. So you could get a. I'm interested in what you're doing because you could get a safe Rubber Band Shooter search, but you can also get a Hagoita here.
Yep.
So I'm really interested.
I do make a little so I link off with those two first, but I was like, you know what? I'm gonna keep what do I end up keeping here? Yeah, I get rid of the Duke and the Piper and I go right for Rubber Band Shooter.
Okay.
And then I believe I banish a 6. Yep, get rid of Juju. Reveal the Terror Top and the Hound. And I do also get the Hound. And then I think from here so at this point I'm thinking like I can normal Hound. And this was also a decision too. I was like, this is where I decide whether or not I want to go for the Auroradon route. But I'm like, if I go Duke, or not even Duke, if I link the Marble and the Rubber Band Shooter for Auroradon right now, and then like Duke out for Piper, like I feel like I'm much more vulnerable to Nibiru at that point.
Yeah, if they hit you on the Piper effect, there's nothing you can do. You don't even get to excavate any
Yep,
card, right?
exactly. Or even just like an Imperm on the Auroradon is just also like kind of hurts quite a bit.
Exactly. Also, you're not gonna get the dog follow up if it's stuck to your hand.
Exactly.
Like a lot of people think about the Auroradon build. They try to autopilot into the Auroradon because but the deck doesn't use it. Like it's not a card that you want to autopilot into. It's more like what if Rubber Band Shooter gets ashed or like impermed, then
Yep.
you still have like another option, right?
Exactly.
In some hands, it's really good to make. It's really good to make.
And it can also like I found like in some hands it can like help you play through D barrier too on synchro. Because I recall like one time I got D barriered like on I wanna say like right at, like I had Rubber Band Shooter up and then like a Hound play and I had already dumped the duplicate. So I just went into Auroradon and like tributed all 3 of the tokens and got the duplicate back. So like I still got an interruption out of it anyways, even though I couldn't access like 90% of our extra deck at that point. It's very, very clutch.
Dump gate and add gate here.
Mm. Yep.
Yep.
Because I'm like, I can get the, you know, the interruption off the cork shooter, and I get access to Hagoita, which is also really, really clutch.
Yeah.
I'm on the Tectomborg, and I think I wanted to go for the car turbo here, but like getting an extra Duke engrave also just seemed really, really good.
Yeah, I also usually try to set up the second Duke. It's so good with the Hagoita.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And then here I go for the Piper here because I was like, this will give me 2 reveals, which like at this point I already have 2 interruptions in hand, so like anything at this point is just a bonus. And I'll also get a Shen. But if I find like
yeah, and you already have the nib engraved for Shen.
Yeah, exactly. So like, you know, I was like, I could either go for Shen here, or if I get like a really good extender, I might be able to go for something else. So we go for the Piper, and I reveal the real recovery and Tetherwolf.
Yeah, that's a good reveal. I love to get
Mm.
recovery. It's not super this situation, but
What would you take here?
I would definitely take the recovery.
Yeah. Okay.
Because you have Takatombok and you have Terratop and Grave. So even if you decide to keep it in hand, it's going to be really high value next turn.
Mm. Yeah, and I was gonna type something in the chat here. I'm like, I do get a little greedy here, so I go for, because like you could easily just like bring Hagoita back here and make Shen, set the 2 traps and pass.
I would go for Baron here, to
Yeah.
be honest. Especially like game 1, like you don't know what matchup is. Oh wait, but you haven't used the Terratop here. Oh
yep.
Shit.
Get the car turbo. Get the Charge
good.
Warrior draw. What do I draw into? An Ash. Okay.
Drops. Well, I would also like you forgot to special summon.
Oh, what's that?
You forgot to special the Hagoitas.
Oh yeah, I didn't even use Hagoita.
Right. But honestly, the Hagoita disruption is kind of clutch. Like
Mm.
in a lot of matchups against the bird deck, you can make the birds level 2, and then they can't use.
Yep.
Against the Sword Soul, you can you can influence the synchro summons. They want to go for a Shiro, and now they have to go for a level 10 synchro. Like might be good in some situation, but the best is against the PK deck.
Oh
You
yeah,
can,
absolutely.
Like, level 4. That's so good.
I mean, I didn't even think about that. To be totally honest, yeah. A lot of people don't, and also VW too. Like level modding against VW, like they don't know what 4s and 7s are. They only know 3s and 6s. So the moment you use Hagoita on VW, they just kind of like very strange, very weird plays they have to make.
It's a cool card, actually. Like it was the best Speedroid exo deck monster for a long time.
Yeah, so don't PSA to everybody out there. Don't forget that it has this first effect, because sometimes leaving it on the board, even if it means like oh, I could summon it, but I'm not gonna get like a Crystal Wing or a Baron or a Shen out of it, or whatever flavor of boss synchro monster you're on. Because I realize not everybody has access to Baron, you know, for budget reasons, obviously. But like, you know, sometimes just leaving the Hagoita on field, as we said, against all those different matchups is like really, really clutch.
I mean, this is pretty much the perfect Speedroid bot, no? Like
2
negations on the field, 2 disruptions, I mean, on the field, 2 in the back row, 1 in the hand. And the follow-up, crazy. Like, you have all the follow-up, the Hagoita, Dog, Duke, and Recovery.
Yep. So even if my board gets completely cracked, like,
yeah,
we're
you can
fine.
still go pressure with the Aurora on next turn.
Good. All right. Do you wanna? What's that? Go ahead.
Different. Like I would have done that what you wanted to do first. Like you first wanted to make the Hagoita as your 4th summon, and I probably would have went with that line, just because it's safer against Nib. But going first, I mean, going first you can play. I think you can play a lot riskier because like not many people are main decking Nibiru.
Yeah.
It's way less likely that you get hit than going in game 2 and 3.
Yeah. And I noticed like also in like some of the replays that I've seen of yours in the past, like uploaded on like other channels, is like in the instance where like it happened to both of us where we banished a 6 and we revealed Terror Top and Hound. Like, had either of us had like a recovery in hand, like I noticed one cool thing you can really do at that point is like you could even like with having the recovery extend into the Aurorodon where both of us opted not to. And then like even if they try to Nibiru you, you still have recovery bringing back Terror Top, which gets you another extender to possibly keep going.
Yeah, and if you didn't start like, and this is a situation when I have dog recovery, I don't use dog 2 at gate because this means like after, exactly like you said, after the Aurorodon gets Nibiru, you still have the Cork Shooter play. So you can go Terratop, search Takatomborg, tag out into Dice, then make a Baron, maybe even maybe even Baron Crystal Wing or something like that after the Nibiru, and then pop the Nib. It's really strong.
Mm-hmm. All right, well,
and we should definitely do like a combo video on that specific combo.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It's really good.
Absolutely. Do you want to go ahead and do another one of these?
Yeah, sure.
All right, let's do it. Here we go. Oh.
All right. Let me put the Tether Wolf in really quick.
All right. May you roll a 6. I hope you roll a 6. All right, everybody, we are back with round 2, and this is the hand that Dueling Book dealt us. Another really solid hand. Last time Aerosol went first, and this time we're gonna mix it up, and I'll be up to bat first. So yeah, I mean, this hand I think is a really solid hand. It already, like, right off the bat has like 2 ways to play and an interruption. Like, even if this is a going second hand, it's already a really good hand. I think we can both agree on that.
Banger, it's a banger.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, this is pretty much close to the perfect Speedroid hand.
Gotta love to see that.
If I could switch one card, I would probably switch the Duke.
Mm-hmm.
But
all right,
it's really good.
So I do lead with the wheel. I was a little hesitant. I was like, you know what? I could probably just go Tether Wolf right into Rubber Band Shooter. But I also was like, you know what? Maybe I could, based on my roll, do something a little bit different if I lead with the wheel first. And also, this is like Ash bait that gets me a Duke Engrave too, so I was totally okay with just leading with this.
Yeah. I think I was thinking a lot about this play. Like, getting a high roll here is so good because then you can just by 5 or 6 you can make either Crystal Ring or Baroness before your 5th summon.
Mm-hmm. And I do roll a 3. So.
Oh damn.
Yeah.
That's nice.
A little bit of a, you know, not a terrible roll, not a fantastic roll, but it's a good roll nonetheless. So I spec out the dice and the marble here, as I have typically been doing, I want to say, when I roll a 3. Unless like, for some reason, dice is not accessible, or I'll just summon, like, any other level 3. And then here I also debated, I'm like, because there's also 2 options here, too. Like, you could either go into a Rubber Band Shooter without burning the normal, and then, like, do things from there. Or you could, like, make a level 3 Synchro play, get your duplicate off your Cork Shooter, all these different things you can do. So what I decided to do is that I would go ahead and Synchro into Cork Shooter here. And I was keeping in mind my summons. So that was 1, 2, 3. This is the 3rd summon. So I can get, you know, an easy interruption just by, you know, making Cork Shooter here on the 3rd summon, plus the Ash. So, like, bare minimum, nothing else resolves in this hand. I have Ash plus the duplicate. So I'm not feeling, you know, too bad about that.
Yeah.
So we go ahead and grab the duplicate.
And follow up with the duplicate.
Exactly. And I go ahead and here I decide to commit the normal summon to the Tether Wolf. And the reason I wanted to do this is because Tether Wolf has the unique level manipulation effect, where it gains the levels of the Mecha Phantom Beast like tokens you control. So right now it's currently a level 7. Yep. So if my opponent like didn't bother to read Tether Wolf or like didn't put 2 and 2 together, Because like a lot of people like might on the ladder or at locals might see this and be like, oh, he has a level 7 play here. Like I'm not concerned about that. And then you go ahead and synchro 10. They're like, wait a second, how did that happen? But
But you actually played through Nibiru with this, especially
exactly,
with
yeah,
your Aerosol. Like, because even if they see the level 10 play and they nib you here, you have the Duke and the speed recovery. So you have rubber band shooter access, and you haven't even any extender except Duke. So you have still Kara and Takatombo.
exactly. Yeah. So at this point, I go ahead and use recovery, bring back the Duke here. Something you could also do, I guess, like since we're both on the Clearwing Fast Dragon, like you could like make a charge warrior here with a token and then duke back the dice and make Fast Dragon. Like that's a line you could do. You could make Wrap Tight here if you're playing it. Like if we by chance already had like like another level 3 tune. Well, I mean technically we could just make Shen and Charge Warrior right here. Like we don't even need to keep going any further. Um like that's something you could do.
Maybe I would have summoned the Cork shooter here.
Mhm.
Um, because like Crow, I mean Crow is not super popular, but the bird deck, the bird up deck does play Crow in the main deck. Some I think
Yeah.
a lot of lists do.
That is
And
true.
and then would you negate a Crow with your one Baroness disruption?
Exactly.
Because
No, that is a good point. Bringing back a less like desirable target would have been a smarter play. Yeah, so that's a good thing to think about there. Yeah. So then we go ahead and link 2 into the rubber band shooter, and at this point, it was kind of similar thought process to the last hand. I was very close to banishing a 6 here, but I decided I would go ahead and banish a 5. So I could get a guaranteed like normal summon, and then that normal summon gets me a guaranteed extender. So I reveal these two here. I mean, I guess
yeah, I
technically I
think
could have still
you played
revealed
this
like
out.
Hound too.
Yeah, I think you played this out really good. Like because Hound, yes, you could, but there's nothing good to dump anymore. Like nothing really good. Like you have the wheel already. You have a gate in hand. Let's follow up. You already have Duke and Grave with dice.
Hmm.
So like, what would you would probably only dump like another Duke for next turn. So
Yeah, or you could dump another gate too, and like summon that out and like make another play with it. But like I feel like you
right,
don't really need to do that.
right.
Yeah, and I think I get we get the marble machine here.
That's yeah. I mean, didn't really matter here what you
Hmm.
got, right?
Then we normal that. We grab Tekatomborg, and then it's pretty much kind of standard from here. I was gonna do like summon out like a car turbo here, another Duke, and like make a crystal wing because like that's something you could do. You could go into Hagoita, then Duke back out your cork shooter, or whatever level 3 tuner you have, and go that route. But I wanted to go for the Piper reveals, and then this is also obviously gonna lead into a charge warrior draw, so it's basically like a draw 2 at this point.
Yeah.
And then we reveal 3 Veiler, wheel, Veiler, or wheel, Veiler, and then I take the Veiler.
I think already at the I think reveal 3 is already the point where we play like so many defensive cards in this list that when you reveal 3 you have like over like a 70% chance or 80% chance to hit one of these. So
Mhm.
Piper is pretty much always a disruption at this point.
Yeah. And like I debated about using the Duke before I summoned out the Piper to get the extra body on field, but like like you said, there's so many defensive cards in the deck at this point. Like you don't really need to like kind of overextend that far. And then we go ahead and synchro 6 into the Charge Warrior, which draws me into a rubber band plane, which is, not going to do too much here, but it is a nice little bit of follow up for next turn. And then
Would it be nice if you had one more extender because then you no, you already use Cork, right?
mhm.
Never mind. Never mind.
Yeah, and then we go ahead and bring out the cork, and then go ahead and make the Shen, and I think that pretty much does it for the turn.
Okay, this is gonna be good because my board is almost the exact same, but we played it out completely different.
Oh yeah, I'm very excited to see that. And also the other thing too here is like we have Ash Veiler in hand too. So like if they clear the Shen Shen, it's coming right back next turn. So all right, let's
Yeah.
go ahead and take a look at Aerosol's hand now. All right, so you said almost identical end board.
Yeah, but we get there like very, very differently.
All right, all right. Let's go ahead and fast forward here.
So I was thinking about the same thing. Like, do I want to discard the Duke? Yeah, but then I saw. All right, we have the recovery, and this is the like this is one of my favorite combos: starter, recovery, wheel.
Mm-hmm.
So I decided not to do it actually.
Okay. And let's see what you roll here. Ooh, very, very nice.
Yeah, no, but I decided not to do it.
Oh.
Nope.
Oh,
Take
okay.
it.
Okay.
Even if it's a fight, I'm not gonna take it. I think I can play this safer.
Gotcha. All right, let's see how this goes. So you just straight normal summon. Because, like, this is what I thought about doing, too. Because I was like, and I remember you told me something about this, like, earlier in the week. Something about, like, how you could, like, use, like, rubber band shooter in combination with wheel to act as, like, a double foolish burial. I remember something along the lines of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm kind of curious to see if you do something along those lines. So okay, so you are gonna banish the 7. All right.
Yeah.
So I'm
So
expecting we'll see Terratop Piper here.
yeah, five guys. That's it. I was thinking, yeah, no, it's a 7 for sure.
Okay. 1, 2, 3 top.
So 1, 2, 3 is top.
You
And
get the
top
Piper.
goes to the grave.
So this is like best case scenario here, honestly.
Hmm.
All right.
Honestly,
So at this point,
maybe
what is your thought process from here?
yeah, maybe I should have. I was really thinking hard about discarding Piper or Duke because if I hit, I mean, probably the best play is to discard the Duke and then just summon the Piper later. Um, But if you discard Piper and you roll anything above 3, you can also just special summon out a Duke and just keep the Duke in hand for next turn. Because Duke is a very good second normal summon in your second turn. It's one of the best normal summons in your second turn when you have a Hagoita in the grave. And then you
Absolutely.
can go for a Kite Drake or Crystal Wing. You don't use, like, Duke doesn't activate on the field, so that makes it very, very safe
Mm-hmm.
turn 3 play. But anyway, I decided I'm gonna pitch the Duke. It's the least risky play in case I get a low roll.
Oh my
But
god.
I do not get it.
Oh my! You got a 5 on the first one, and now it's a 6 on
Yeah,
the second one.
you gotta one up it.
Yes, sir.
Now we get the dog follow up too and the second Duke, so it's just so much value that we get here right now.
Absolutely.
All
And
right.
then you're gonna go for the Auroradon.
Yeah, this is the line I was talking about. I mean, everybody's gonna nip here.
Mm.
Like, I would too. Like, you have a tuner and like tokens on the field. Like, the next summon, like, you're gonna see it play out. Like, you have to nip. But with recovery and Terratop Engrave, you always have like an insane play.
Yep.
So this is the whole setup. Keep the recovery as long as possible until the Terratop is in the grave.
Yeah, because I went for a very, very early cork, and obviously, the roll and stuff like that'll decide a lot of things. But at this point, you haven't used your Duke yet. You have the Terratop available to you via the recovery. If your board even gets completely wiped right now, and then you still have yet to use Tekatombo or Car Turbo at this point. Very, very
Yeah, so
strong.
I could have used the Duke now, because when your opponent doesn't nip you here, I usually feel very safe.
Mm-hmm.
Like then I at one point I'm switching to a mode where I'm like, okay, I just feel it that my opponent doesn't have it. So
Yep.
what you could do is you could just summon out the Piper and go for a full Excavator 5. Like just use the Duke that we already have in grave. But what I don't like about this, I rather get the Stardust Charge draw first, and then maybe I draw something like an Imperm or like a hard once per turn hand trap, like a Nibiru. And then with Piper, I obviously not gonna get the same hand trap a second time. So
Yeah.
I just try to sequence it this way.
Okay. You do go for the charge, and you do get pick up a draw. It's very good.
Yeah. So now with the pipe, I'm obviously not gonna get another draw.
Mm-hmm. And then reveal 4. Plain, marble, Tekatomborg is huge, and a duplicate. Very, very nice reveals there.
Yeah, really, really good. I'm gonna go for the gate. I haven't used Takatombok yet, so I was considering it, but gate is just so nice. Yeah, it just adds like it really adds a lot to the board, especially like people are playing mine still, and
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
often they force out like I never want to be in the situation where they force out the Baron and then I don't have anything to counter the mine, and we are like in this situation where like now I have the opportunity to add the gate, but then I would have to hard draw it, which is really bad.
Yeah. Go for the Baron.
Yep.
And then... So this is the thing you were talking about earlier, where you needed to actually use Baron's pop effect to make room here.
I really want to go for the Cog play, and Cog revives too. I guess I should have popped it later, not now, but Cog revives too, so I need 3 zones, and I don't have a. Usually, what I would do is if we would have started with Dog, it's way more likely to start with Dog than to start with Tetherwolf because Tetherwolf is a one-off. And if we start with Dog, we already have a gate in the grave, and then you don't need to pop anything. You can just use Auroradon, add back the gate, and then do the play that I'm gonna do now.
Okay.
And you actually have one more disruption in the end. But in this case, we started with Tetherwolf, and yeah,
All right.
I'm gonna go for the pop.
You're gonna add the Tekatomborg, summon that out, and tag out for the dice. Because again, already like you've got another Duke engrave, so like this is just free at this point. Cork shooter. And then I assume you're gonna make the Terror Top of 4 here.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm doing. All right, and that's a Hagoita. I'm gonna use this to level modulate and then just bring it back to go for the Shen Shen. And we have basically the same board with with Gate and Shen.
Wow. Yeah, actually, I mean, hold on a second. Like that's kind of spicy right there. Like doing the Hagoita effect right here and then bringing it back to make this a 4 so you can go for 9. That is something I would not have ever even have thought of. That is really cool.
Like I'm not, we are not playing Yoyo right now, but how I played out the Yoyo combo is when you reveal Yoyo top and then you bring back you use the Yoyo, then in the end you can make the same thing, like you can end on Hagoita plus Baron by using the level modulation effect of Hagoita and bringing it back.
That is really cool. Wow. that's so cool. Learn something new every day, and there it is, Baron Shen Shen with the follow-up.
Yeah, with the speed recovery and the dog and the Hagoita.
Yeah, I definitely think you came out on top here with this one with the better end board, 100%.
Yeah, but I think we have the exact same amount of disruption in the end. So. And
I think
yours was also safe against Nibiru because yeah.
Yeah, I think the better thing about your board here though is you do have a little bit more follow-up. You've got Hound, you've got Duke, you've got Recovery and Hagoita. Where I think my only follow-up was like the Recovery.
Yeah.
And then like I think the other no, I think we had the same amount of cards in our hand at the end, which is like 3 or 4, but yeah.
But I think like one difference is I could have gone for a Crystal Wing if I wanted to instead of the, or I don't remember. You could have gone for it too. I don't know.
Yeah, I think we both had the opportunity to go for Crystal Wings there.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah, so that's pretty good.
Yep. So my end board, yeah. So I did have the yeah. If I said the duplicate,
yeah, you had a plane in hand, and you still have the Auroradon and the extra, which is also nice.
Not bad, not bad. So yeah, there's the difference in the boards there for everybody at home.
You have a Vela and I have a draw. But...
Do I ever discard dice with wheel? That's a good question. Sometimes I put myself in a situation where I have to, and I'm like, you know what? If I roll a 1, I roll a 1. I was probably losing the game anyways. So sometimes I do, but like I would say a majority of the time I end up having to discard something else because I don't want to be taking 500 damage off of my wheel.
Yeah, neck 2, right?
Yeah.
But I really like what you said there because I think often in this deck, if you are in a bad position and you're gonna lose the game anyway, you can make really risky plays. Like you can also use your rubber band shooter to reveal Duke and top, and then if you get the Duke, you would have lost the game anyway. But if you hit the
Terror
Terror
top.
top and then get the Duke and Grave, then you
Mm-hmm.
can make a dice play. Plus you have Duke and Grave, so
Yeah.
you're gonna get even more value.
Yeah, that would be like a double crystal wing right there versus just, I think even in the spreadsheet that I'm working on, I wrote down a combo line where there's like you can like reveal like I think like something very similar to that, like a Terror Top and a Duke. And it's like if you get the Terror Top, like you can like pop off and do all these crazy things, but if you get the Duke, it's kind of like, pass turn. And in some scenarios, you might be left in that situation where it's just like you don't have another
Yeah.
option, so you might as well just go for it. And if it pays out, it pays out. All right, everybody. So now that we're done with that fun little exercise, I hope you guys enjoyed that. What we're gonna do now is we talked about it earlier in the video. We talked about the Wandering Gryphon Rider. So right now we're gonna go ahead and also we are playing 2 copies in the main deck right now currently because we're just we haven't tested the card at all yet. We're just swapping basically the primitive butterflies out of our previous build, the one that we showed at like the beginning of the video, and just throwing the Gryphon Riders in and to see how they'll fare. So if I don't get the Gryphon Rider here in the hand, yeah, so we're gonna go ahead and just I'll just keep drawing hands here until we get one. Oh, here we go. So the next hand, there we go. We got a Gryphon Rider in hand. And I already really, really like this hand. This hand seems like it's working out very, very well already.
Yeah, it's good for going first for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I have to say, like, Speedroid is one of these decks where I prefer drawing like 1 or 2 non-engine cards going first, like an Ash or a Judgment or like whatever you side in. Right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like because often even if you have 5 cards to combo, like your boards not necessarily get better. At one point you can set up an extra Duke follow-up and stuff, but like 5 engine cards doesn't mean like a crazy board.
I think I remember you saying something very similar to that in one of your older Speedroid videos, and that's a very good point because I think a lot of people confuse it as more is always better, like, and that was another thing too. I think you were talking about like Dinotherium and Hasty Horse, where it's like, back when those cards were like mandatory almost in the main deck. It was like, if you do play more wind extenders, like it's good, right? It might help you like get into rubber band shooter easier, but like it doesn't raise the overall ceiling of what your end board is. Like your engine's only going to be able to do so much, despite how many wind extenders you have at the end of the day.
Really, one thing I want to say about Gryphon Rider is I think it's better than the Harpy Pet Dragon. Even though like some people think it has the worst summoning condition because you need to have it's the same summoning condition as top, so it might conflict. But if you don't run wins or anything anyway, then it's only conflicting with 1 card in the deck, and it's important that it has a different summoning condition from Car Turbo and Takatombok.
Yep.
Because if you run the Harpy Pet Dragon, yeah, I don't. I wish we could pull it up right now, but anyway,
I'll put a
it's
picture of it in post on the
yeah,
screen for people to read.
it's another level 7, so you might think like, oh, that card is bad. You just need to control a wind monster and you can beam it out. So and it all has 2000 attack. It's pretty much the same thing as Gryphon Rider. But if you play 9 cards in your deck, let's say you play 3 times the Harpy Pet Dragon, 9 cards, Katobo, Takatombok, and the Harpy Pet Dragon with the same summoning condition, you're gonna brick on these. Like going second, what if your normal summon gets striked? And you have like a Carturbo, a Terratop, and a Harpy Pet Dragon in hand.
Yeah.
Like you don't have a wind monster. Your first wind monster get removed, and 3 extenders turn dead.
Exactly.
And that's like a big red flag for me. So Gryphon Rider can unbrick your hand. Like for example, now we can just play with Car and Gryphon Rider, even going second. Special Gryphon Rider and a special Car and make a Baroness and try to pressure a bit, right? But you can't do that with the Harpy card.
Yeah, exactly. Like, yeah, no, that's a very, very good point. Like, we can just like even for example, like if this were Butterfly too, like you could just spec out Butterfly and then like normal Piper and reveal a card and then make Baron like very, very easily, like right at the start of the combo there, and like you you don't have to like invest other cards into it first in order to get your other extenders on the field, because like you said, makes it very, very vulnerable to like, normal summon Hound, Solemn Strike, or normal summon Hound, or like even if you like, I've had this happen to me too sometimes, where like you'll normal summon like Marble
Or
Machine, or you'll
like,
spec out the Terratop, they'll see you add Tekatomborg, they'll see you add Card Trip, and like, what does it do? You're like, oh, you need to control wind, and then they'll go like, any effect in the game that removes it off the field, then it like puts you on needing another extender that lets you make live your extender that you just searched. So like
yeah,
Gryphon
and I
Rider
think
could let
this
you
is the
play into
exact
a board,
reason
they
why
wipe
we
it,
are
and then you can
still.
summon it and keep going.
Yeah, I think this is the exact reason why we are still playing cards like Dinotherium, like Butterfly or Gryphon Rider, exactly because they fixed like this issue the deck has.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
So with this
Yes.
hand here, you probably would want to just start Rider into Card Turbo then, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. I'm thinking right now, like if we go dog, I mean, yeah, probably we would go for the early Baron this way. But theoretically, if we didn't have the car, like if we go dog, into Cork Shooter, into Baron, I think Baron is still the fifth summon if we had Gate first.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So 1, 2, 3. Yeah, that
4,
would
5.
be under 5. Yeah.
So it's nice. It's really nice. Now both Marble and Dog work with Gryphon Rider and
Mm-hmm.
make Baron on before the fifth summon.
And that's like a really good 2-card combo that's also getting you 2 interruptions. Like,
Yeah, and you don't play into Nibiru, which was
mm-hmm.
usually a big issue for the deck. And you don't even play into Droll with this. You really don't play into anything, not even into Lancia. Like this combo is simple, like
Yeah.
Dog Gryphon Rider, but it's good. Like if you already have like a Gozen match or a Judgment or an Order in hand, I think often the simpler combos pay off.
Mm-hmm. No, 100%. 100%. And like Lancia and Droll can be such crippling cards against this deck. Like, it's not even funny. Like,
Yeah, they draw you now. Cool. You go
yeah,
into Baron.
literally just keep going.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'd have our Baron here, and just like that, we have the Baron plus duplicate, and we have the Hound follow up in
Yeah.
graveyard too, which is already really
Even
strong.
with the car, it would have been better in this hand to obviously use the car first and
Mm-hmm.
go for the Baroness. This way we can maybe mill a Taka Tombok off the rubber band shooter, um, and then use the recovery, get max value from the recovery.
Mm-hmm. So we'll play it out that way. Here. That's just like another way, like in general, how you could do that if, like you said, we did not have like the easy car turbo in hand. We would just
And
do
as you saw
this.
with the replays before, we both used Terratop a lot. Like we both revealed it. We also revived it with speed recovery whenever we saw recovery. And that's one thing where Win actually lowers your ceiling, like cards like Win and Scratch. Start with Terratop, you go -1, and then you go +1 because of Terratop, but you can't reveal Terratop for the rest of the turn anymore. And speed recovery will usually give you a bit less value. So Terratop is a +1 that we sometimes get mid combo for free anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why also like one thing when people mention Win and Scratch, what I don't like about those cards.
Yeah. Because I know there's going to be, I know like in the past 2 videos I've posted about Speedroid, like there's always comments, they're like, where's Scratch? How come no
Yeah.
win? And it's just like, all for the reasons you just said right there. Like, minus, plays into hand traps, like literally, if you go win and go grab Terratop, like that's great, but if they have Droll and Lockbird on resolution, like, that's a turn skip. And
Yeah.
there's already so many things to get turn skipped by this format. Like, you don't want to add another card to that list.
Right. And Ash becomes really dangerous when you play like up to
Yeah.
with the gates, including the gates, like what 12, 14 or something defensive cards.
Mm-hmm.
Then you really need like a lot of wins in your hand in order for win to work. Like
Yeah. And the thing with Scratch too, like, I don't know, like because like I want to say it's almost player preference, but like I feel like Win in general like oftentimes ends up being a better card, but like I don't know where people like often like recently with the revealing of Scratch and like it being TCG League now, people like started moving more towards Scratch because like, oh, you can discard like, a Speedroid card, but like oftentimes like that means you're just like taking other what would be like either starters out of your hand or extenders. Like I feel like maybe because people are like too like focused on like resolving Terra Top, kind of like I was in like previous builds. Um until I basically, experimented like what if we play it a bit differently and go on the route with how you're doing it. And it ends up just being like way better in practice. So it's like something like people kind of have to like learn to move away from because a lot of people don't like change at the end of the day. And I totally understand
Right,
that.
right. Because
Um,
Win was like I think like it was 100% correct to play Win for like the last ever since it got released in Rise of the Duelist.
yeah.
Or
And
was
like,
it? Was
yeah, it
in
was in
Rise of
Rise
the
of the Duelist. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like the other thing too is like, if you look at it this way, like you always like look at it in the perfect light, like, oh, Scratch can discard, you know, Duke. It can discard Duplicate. It's like that's great and all, but like so can things like Wheel. Like, and a lot of times you don't always want to discard Duplicate too because like it like the Scratch could have just been another starter anyways, and then the Duplicate in your hand just is like a bonus interruption. So like
Right.
sometimes it's just like
If
redundant and like counterintuitive to what you're trying to do with the deck anyways.
if you say Win is only good when you have a starter already in hand, at that point you could just play an extender over Win and you have the exact same thing as Terratop without using Terratop. Like if you then play a Butterfly over Win and it's only good when you have a starter anyway, then you have like Butterfly plus a starter, which is the same thing as a Terratop, because a Terratop is literally most of the time just like a buddy that searches you a starter, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
All right, you wanna
Yeah, let's go ahead
try
and
the test?
we'll go ahead and play this out now that we've talked down on winning Scratch, which is what I really wanted to do that in this video because I know there's gonna be a lot of people are asking about it.
Yeah.
So we've opened the Gryphon Rider. We have Car Turbo on board. With this particular hand, we'll synchro into Baron, and then from there, what do you think is? I mean, obviously, I think the only play to go to from there is not set recovery pass. It's probably going to be normal summon Hound.
Good one. Yeah, let's go dog into.
Hmm. And then here,
And
what do you think
interesting,
we?
like you could get gate, but then you're not gonna get so much value from card.
Mhm.
So I would probably not add gate here.
And go for like the duplicate or not the not gate the wheel.
Yeah, whenever I have the Speedroid spell cards like Recovery and Wheel, I'm a little bit hesitant like about adding Gate
Hmm.
because first of all you can often add it later with Auroradon and yeah, both Recovery and Wheel can get extra value the rubber band shooter.
Yeah. And Piper's like a great card to discard anyways.
Right, right.
So we'll use this. We'll go ahead and search our wheel. And
Ooh, you would
then
have gone for Wheel. Ah, I see what you
mhm.
mean. Ooh, that's interesting.
Yeah, because like the way I'm seeing it too is
But you're
like
right, you're right. I would have went for rubber band shooter, but Wheel is better for sure.
mhm.
Because you want to get the pipe out of hand anyway.
Yeah. And I'll be honest, I didn't hear that you said you wanted to go for rubber band shooter, so I'll just yeah. I mean, but
Yeah.
we'll go for this. All right. Yeah. Let's see what we get here. No ones. All right. We'll take a 4. That's really good.
Yeah, that's nice.
And
Now
we
what
can
are we
get
gonna go for? We have, I mean, Duke,
mhm.
Duke for sure.
Yeah, definitely a Duke, and then we have to get a dice there.
Ah, that's kind of crusty.
Yeah, there's a lot of tuners.
Right, because now again we are in the situation where, I mean, no, that's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Yeah, let's just get.
And then, what would you link off here? Would you leave like, because obviously we're linking off the dice, but what do you think would be the best to link off the cork
I
shooter?
guess if if the rubber band shooter get disrupted, I would never use the Omni Negate on an imperm on rubber band shooter because we already have enough bodies to link into Auroradon, get like a big Piper, even without like resolving rubber band shooter,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I don't think it matters so
Okay.
much.
And then rubber band shooter effect, assuming it resolves, probably banishing. I was gonna say we could go for a 6 here, but we've already burned Hound.
I really like the marble machine, to be honest. Like, and
Hmm.
using actually the enormous summon as an alternative, because as it seems, this is the only way to get into Hagoita if we want to resolve Piper too. I
Hmm.
mean, you can always go into Hagoita with the dice, but it's better to resolve the Piper, I think.
Yep. And like you said too, like if this gets interrupted in any way, shape, or form, we have Auroradon with recovery. So
Yeah, Duke. Yeah, it's just so good.
and we'll reveal the Terror Top, Marble. Do 1, 2, 3 top. See what we get. We get the marble, which is perfect. It's like a lot. It's funny too because like a lot of times when I'm playing this deck and like they see me like using rubber band shooter and they just see me reveal terror top and they don't see me get the terror top. A lot of times they're like like yes, you didn't get terror top, and like but this is one of those situations where like not getting terror top ends up like being the better case scenario.
Yeah. So which way around do you want to play it? We have used Ka already. We haven't used Takatombok.
Hmm. Yeah, this
Hmm.
is this is and this is also like where like if this is like game 2 or 3, like if we have a better idea of what we're playing against, like that could also influence what we're trying to do here, because I believe we could get to Shen with this hand, or we could get to like the even double crystal wing too, I believe, with the Baron.
Yeah. Yeah, the thing is, right now I would try to get as like in a situation like this was one of these hands where we only have engine. I always try to get like all the effects that can get us into something else. Like definitely, I would 100% try to resolve Starless Charge Warrior this turn and Piper as well,
Hmm.
because our board as it is right now is gonna lose to a Dark Ruler and a Droplet,
Yep,
just like
absolutely.
super hard. Like most decks have one cut combos and two cut combos now. Even if they Droplet, they can go for like sending three. In the end,
Hmm.
disrupt the double Crystal Wing Baron, and then you just lose to a one cut combo or to
Yeah.
like a two cut combo.
Especially if you're playing against the Phantom Knight deck, like they have no
Yeah,
problem dropletting for 3 against you because they're just putting all their extenders in grave.
yeah.
All right, so then you'd probably want to go Auroradon here, or would you additional normal for the marble?
I would definitely go for the additional normal.
All right, and then we'll go ahead and search our Tekatomborg here.
Yep.
And this is also one thing I want to bring up too. Like, there have been times where I've been playing this deck the past like couple weeks where like I'll have the option like we're in right now. I mean, I guess this is an exception because we've already used Car Turbo, but like let's say we didn't. Like sometimes like it feels like where you like if you don't have like Duke as an option in the deck. Like let's say you can't take a Tomborg for like Duke. So your only other like tag outable tuner that's worthwhile be going for like Car Turbo. And you can either like off Marble Machine, you could either take a Tekatomborg or you could take a Car Turbo. Like what do you feel like is like better to do? Like just like leave the Tekatomborgs in the deck and just go directly for the Car Turbo you were gonna summon off the Tekatomborg anyways, or do you go for the Tekatomborg and tag it out regardless still into the Car Turbo?
I mean, if you don't need, yeah, I guess I would just like tag it out and no, I just would just directly search the card turbo.
Okay.
I mean, it depends. Like, if you want to get ashed, like Takatombok is a ash magnet. If you want to get
Yeah.
ashed at that point, then go for the Takatombok play and then go into Rubber Band Shooter potentially,
Hmm.
because like if they don't know how much you play. Most people don't know about Speedroids. They don't know that the turn 3 or turn 5 Takatombok is pretty weak. so they might ash it or do whatever, right?
Yeah,
It
exactly.
really depends on the game state, I guess.
Hmm.
I'm thinking about how we are doing this right now because I kind of want to get the Piper for 5.
Yeah, I feel a bit more inclined to do it as well because like we have the Baron
Yeah,
up already.
but I also wanted to threaten them because I mean now we are literally playing about around 2 cut combos like Gamma Nib,
Yeah.
Imperm Nib, Vela Nib,
Hmm.
something like that. So maybe I mean going for Hagoita now is the safest because then we can pressure them with the Takatomborg, summoning a Duke, and then they have to drop Gamma Nib because you have if you have Crystal Wing Baron, then you can also stop Gamma Nib, right?
Yeah.
Um, so this way we can keep the recovery in hand, I guess.
Hmm. Yeah, cause like, hmm. I'm just trying to think here also because like, if we make a Crystal Wing here, I think we can also make Charge Warrior and Shen as well.
Mm, how are we gonna make the Charge Warrior now
Because
is the
I think
question.
what we could do here is we could tech a Tomborg and then use that to tag into any level 3, and then we make our Crystal Wing. And then we would have to burn our recovery on the Terror Top to add. Well, we already used Card Turbo. Okay. Mm.
Yeah, yeah, it's kind of crusty. If we go for the Crystal Wing, we can't go for the Stardust Charge, but the star maybe we can't go for the Stardust Charge here.
Mm.
Yeah, I really want to, but it's probably not feasible.
Mm. Then we would just use Tech a Tomborg here.
Yeah. And something that I like to do is now in this situation, I don't go for the Crystal Wing. I just attempt to go for it. I just show that I can do it. Because if they theoretically they have Gamma Nip, then they would need to drop it here. And the Crystal Wing is so obvious for like most players, for most good players.
Mm.
Always depends on the skill level of the opponent.
Absolutely.
That at this point I'm thinking, yeah, they just don't have it.
Mm. Yeah.
They just don't have it, right?
Exactly.
Right. So now I would just revive the Terratop and then go for a full 5 on the.
And then what would you want to search off of the Terror Top?
Mm, that's just a marble machine for follow up.
Yeah. And then we'll go ahead and Duke out the Piper.
Yeah.
Deal 5. What we get. We have
Nice.
Nib, Recovery, Duplicate, Tekatomborg, and Hound.
So what would you pick?
I would probably. Hmm. Hmm. I would. This is a little tricky. Um. I'd probably take the Nibiru here, to be honest.
Okay.
Taking Duplicate also
Yeah.
sounds very, very enticing, but like.
I see it. I see it. I mean, depends on the board that we're building. If we build a Shenshin, I mean, we're gonna build a Shenshin board, and I mean, it is a revive for Shenshin, but we also have to tribute our own Crystal Wing and Baron.
Hmm.
So I mean, we're in the best situation is when we can stop them with Crystal Wing, Gate, Baron, Shenshin, and then just we have all the big bodies and can attack for game next turn.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, like it's either
and
Duplicate or Nib here,
about the
100%.
sometimes what I feel about the Nibiru is Speedroid can grind, like it can build follow up for another big push next turn, but there's not going to be a third push.
Hmm.
So a third big push, it's not going to happen. So
Yeah.
that's the risk of Nibiru. Like you have one more push next turn after you nib your own board, and if you can't um,
Hmm.
finish it, then it's over.
Yeah. So the safer route here would be the Duplicate.
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, it really depends. I mean, there's some decks that just can't deal with nib.
Like the Live Twin deck, for example.
Yeah, or
Like,
the deck that I play right now, the Sun Avalon deck, the
hmm
Sun Avalon Rika deck.
yeah, which is a pretty interesting strategy. I'm not gonna lie. So one thing we could do here is like we could still make a Charge Warrior and a Shen Shen too, so we get that additional draw, or we could make the Crystal Wing.
Mm. So what do we value more? We have. You don't. Do you play the fast dragon in this?
I do play Fast Dragon. So yeah, that's
So
we
we
could
could
make
also
Fast Dragon
make.
and Crystal Wing too.
Yeah, we could also. Yeah. Yeah,
And
Crystal Wing
making the end
fast
board too will
dragon.
all be very like I said, if this is game 2 or
Yeah,
3,
I don't
making
think
the
we
end
need
board makes
to.
it much easier to like you know what you're playing against.
Right. Like for example, against Sword Soul, we would go for like the Crystal Wing fast dragon. It's just an example, I guess. Or yeah.
Mm,
I mean. Shenshin is also pretty good. It's really now up to the matchup. I don't think it's even worth like playing it out further.
yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a very, very strong hand with the Gryphon Rider. Like, if we were gonna draw any hand with the Gryphon Rider, like that was a pretty good hand to draw.
Yeah, and as I said, like what I said earlier, we
Mm,
ended up like searching Marble Machine as follow-up and setting up a second Duke. Like we actually didn't need those. Like we already used every single name that the engine can probably put up except like Plane, but Plane is not good at the end of the combo. We don't have enough tuners.
hmm
So yeah.
Yeah,
Right?
not a
Like
bad
it
end
would have
board
been
there.
probably better instead of like one of the extenders, maybe even the recovery just having like because this Teratop in the end was not that great. So
Hmm
if we had like a judgment or like even just an ash on top of that would have been probably way better.
Yeah, because like you said, like we're at the limits of what we're able to do with the hand here and making it as balanced as possible. Because like we could have dumped everything into the board and probably like made double Crystal Wing Baron, and then maybe not have had um you know like a balanced board, like you said, where we have the following grave, we have the duplicate in the back line, we have the marble machine. Um, we have a board that doesn't 100% lose to drop a dark ruler, which I think is always the safer thing to bet on at the end of the day.
You know what I've been loving recently? I've been trying Speedroid as an engine, and I think Speedroid will become one day really good as an engine.
Hmm.
Because a lot of cards don't use the normal summon. You can literally now with Piper just splash in like into any wind deck. You can splash one Teratop, three Takatombok, one Piper, maybe even one Duke, and call it a day. Or maybe even like a car. If the wind deck is synchro based, you can also like splash in another car. It's amazing for the attack boost and everything.
Yeah.
And none of these cards take up the normal summon, and they wind lock you. The only thing right now is there's not a wind deck that can abuse this, not a wind deck that has normal summons that are superior to our in theme normal summons. Like you could do this splash droids into Simorgh or Harpies, but their normal summons suck. They're just worse than our own. But
Yeah.
maybe in the future, I just imagine what if Sword Soul would all be wind? They
Hmm
like imagine you Sword Soul would all be wind and you get interrupted on your normal summon with an imperm. You can literally special Takatombok, go into Piper, draw one, go into Shijao, draw another card of the
Mo Yi.
yeah of the Sword Soul guy, then add one. So literally one Takatombok would turn like your imperm normal summon into a draw two add one.
Yeah,
It's crazy.
that's a really good point actually. I've never
Yeah,
looked
there's
at it
just
that way.
no wind deck. There's just no wind deck out there.
Hmm Yeah, not yet anyways. Not yet.
Yeah.
Just give it time. It seems like wind is like always like wind and like fire decks. I guess maybe not so much recently, but like wind and like some water strategies, like those seem like to be the very like left behind type of decks. So
Yeah.
hopefully they'll get some more cards to work with. Do you want to go ahead
Yeah.
and do one more Gryphon Rider test hand here?
Yeah, sure.
All right.
Sure. I'm kind of jealous on the water support. It's
Yeah,
literally
it's
what the
insane.
deck wanted. Imagine we would have gotten the level 4 extender that can just shuffle 3 water monster back.
Yeah.
Like 3 level 4 extender for Speedroids and you can just shuffle 3 wind monsters back.
That would be insane. That'd be so good.
That's a nice one.
Oh, here we go.
Okay, there we go. And again, we can make the early Baron.
Mm-hmm.
Such a good card.
Yeah. So, I mean, the way I would do this would probably be, I would definitely spec Gryphon Rider here, and yeah, definitely spec Gryphon Rider, definitely spec Tekadonborg, tag into Duke, and then make Baron, and then normal Marble Machine, and probably grab Car Turbo, right? Would you agree with pretty much all of that?
Mm. That's yeah. I'm thinking if we want to get Duke into the grave, if it's useful for later. The other line would be right, same as the butterfly line. Like you go Gryphon, normal marble machine, add car, and then make on the fourth summon the Baron with car and Gryphon.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have the Takatombok for a potential Piper or Dice
Yeah,
later.
yeah.
What do you think?
I
But
I think uh, I think your line is a bit better, saving Tekatomborg. Yeah,
mm,
because like the later in the combo you can use Tekatomborg, I find is always way better.
yeah, the better it gets. But on the other hand, we also have like the standard, just like good Marble Machine Takatombok. I'm really unsure about this.
Mm-hmm.
I really need to playtest the Gryphon Rider more. But let's just try. Let's just try
All
and
right.
see how it goes.
So we'll normal this and we'll search out the car,
Yep.
and then we will special summon the car.
Hmm.
That is 1, 2, 3. Yeah, that's and then our fourth summon is the Baron. If that will go to the grave, there we go.
By the way, what attribute is the grave token? It can't be wind. No, it's water, I think.
What card?
The brave token.
Oh, the Brave token. Let me check really quick.
I'm pretty sure it's water. Imagine it's wind, then we.
Oh my god. It's the Rite of Aramesia card, right? One of those cards, Brave token. Here we go. Yeah, Rite of Aramesia, and then the one token is Earth level 4.
Okay,
Yeah,
so yeah, never mind.
close, close. I was expecting to be like light or dark, like the classic. You know.
Yeah, the Yu-Gi-Oh attributes.
Mm-hmm. And then from here, we could just recovery out the car turbo and hold the Tekatomborg, and we could go into the rubber band shooter there.
Yeah, there's. I think there's a lot of ways that lead to a good board from here.
Mm-hmm.
We could also try to save the recovery in case we mill a Takatombo, Terratop later.
Mm-hmm.
But then, honestly, the Terratop, reviving it is not that strong even because we can't. We already use Car and Takatombok. So this is something we should be mindful of now. We are after whatever we do now, we are out of tuna extenders.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that is definitely something to keep note of.
Yeah, maybe your play was even like if tag out into. I mean, I guess you could rather get ashed on the Marble Machine than on the Takatombok. But I mean, making Hagoita here also is kind of cool. What I would do usually is probably just make the Hagoita with the Takatomborg, especially the Duke, and then revive the car and go into Rubber Band Shooter, and you go for Dog, and then add Gate. But we already have Gate.
Mm-hmm. We could go. I was gonna say we could go for a wheel. I don't know if this is one of those scenarios where we could like reveal like a Hound and a Piper, and then like search a wheel at some point off of something, off of the
Mm,
cork.
mm. We haven't used Cork, and we ooh. So if we get the dog, so what now? Imagine we go now into Rubber Band Shooter, reveal Dog Piper. If we get the dog, we can mill a dice and go for a wheel, go for
Cork
a
shooter.
shooter play, right? And what if we hit the Piper, then we get an Excavate. Do we even have a non-tuner engrave that we can revive to use for a Synchro Summon? I guess we have the dog then.
Yeah.
Then I guess then we would have to go. I mean, this works. We could go for. Yeah, I think that's a good idea actually. Honestly, I like it.
So go for the rubber band.
Yeah, because if we hit Piper, we can first revive the dog, then use Duke, revive the car, and then go for a big Piper, and then go into Stars Charge. But we already have Baron. This is where the second level 10 would be nice.
Yeah.
Alright, alright.
So do you
Yeah,
want to
let's
still
go.
go this route, or do you want to change it up?
Nah, I think Dog Piper is good.
Okay.
I wonder what happens if we hit Piper.
1, 2, 3, Hound. And we get the Hound.
Alright, that's perfect. So we now have we can send the dice and go for a cork play, and after that we can revive the Piper and go for a Shenshin play and get the Excavate.
I like it. I like it. So, Duke here or recovery on the dice?
Yeah.
Recovery?
I don't think it matters.
All right, we'll just.
I'm not
I'll go
sure.
with the recovery here, and then we'll make it a level 2.
Hmm.
And then,
I would set up a Hagoita here and just go for a Crystal Wing.
yeah. Then we'll make this a level 4.
Yep.
And then we could just Duke for Piper right here.
Yeah, that's the maximum Excavate. True.
And we'll reveal 4.
Yo.
Double nib,
Nice.
Ash, duplicate.
Yeah, no. I would take the Ash 100%.
Yeah.
It's a
You
different
can never go
disruption.
wrong with Ash.
Yeah, it's not in the back row, so Lightning Storm. It's just the safest card, and we're gonna go for Piper for Shenshin anyway, so it's already a revive for Shenshin.
Like, we could even make
First,
Shen and Crystal Wing here, too.
yeah, first we go for the Crystal Wing, and no, first we go for the Crystal Wing
Yep.
because if we do it the other way around, then the Hagoita is fun.
And then Crystal or Hagoita effects, and then boom.
Dude, these boys are killer.
They are pretty nice, and like nothing beats the early Baron. Like, having this card on field before you go into this, or like go any deeper into the plays, is just so strong. And the other thing I noticed too, like, even if you like, let's say we did have to burn our Baron at some point in the combo to stop an Imperm or something, or whatever hand trap it was. Maybe there was a Nibiru. Like, even during the standby phase now, we could hypothetically use Baron, return itself back to the extra deck, and summon this back out and reveal 3 more cards to try to find another hand trap.
Okay, let's try to find another hand trap.
Let's see what we get. I'll
I
shuffle
do this.
here.
I did this a bunch of times already.
And there's Nibiru right there.
There's Nibiru, and even a Terratop that's worth considering.
Yep, absolutely.
Like, it's so good. So even when we burn the disruption, we're gonna get another one.
Yeah. Pretty solid end boards. I feel like the only downside is like the early burning of tuner extenders. I feel like that's the only downside when it comes to this, but also getting Baron on field very early is also a very good upside.
I'm still I'm a huge fan of this card.
I hope it's secret rare. I really hope it is.
Yeah. And like playing around Nib was like such a struggle before the new support and before Gryphon Rider and everything. Like, there was basically only Marble Machine car or Marble Machine Takatomborg, and that's it.
Yep.
And that combo is still good nowadays.
And like you said, it's also a very good like combo. Like if you get drolled, like falling back in the double crystal wing, and I think that's why you originally said you wanted to go back to the double crystal wing, right?
By the way, how do you play out, let's say, like 4 hand traps, 1 dog without Yoyo?
How would I play that out?
Yeah.
4 hand traps and dog.
Basic one cut combo, because this is something I got asked a bunch, like, oh, you're not playing Yoyo, what are you doing without Yoyo? You can't like.
Yeah. Here. Take this. I'm just gonna take all the Nibiru's just because and an imperm.
Yeah, but I think this changes the combo if you take only Nibiru.
Okay. I'll add some different hand traps. I just wanted triple rock. Let's see here. We'll go with we'll make it well balanced. We'll do this.
That's beautiful. I mean, that's not good because it's very frail and you have no follow up, but it's good if it resolves.
Yeah. So, but this is what you said, right? Hound plus 4 hand traps.
Yeah.
Do you already have an idea in your head of how you would play this out?
I think there's multiple good ways to do it.
I
I
mean,
mean, the options are really, really limited. But
yeah.
it's a play. You know, I usually go for a play that like a lot of people would like. It's not even a real play. Some people would say.
I mean, this is interesting too because like in my spreadsheet that I've been working, I've started with 1 card Hound combos. So like, I know it's either gonna be make cork shooter, add duplicate pass, or it's gonna involve going into a rubber band shooter. Like there's 2 starting routes there.
I mean, I as much as I like just like adding gate. You don't have any follow up because the dog doesn't even have anything to shuffle back.
Yep, yeah,
It's
you
like,
can't shuffle back the cork shooter itself.
your opponent could literally just normal summon an 1800 beta and
Yeah.
and start pressuring the 1900. This way you can't even set the ash to protect yourself. Right.
I'd bring out the duplicate. And I mean, with this many hand traps in hand, I definitely would play a little bit more greedy, I feel like. Because if I do get stopped, like, I don't know how my opponent's going to play through this, to be honest, unless they're playing, like, Eldritch. Then at that, I mean, I have Ash for Sanguine, but, like, it's not terrible. So here, I would probably... I think this also ended up being that same route where you can reveal a 7. And if you get the Tekatombor, you can summon the Tekatombor, tag it for Duke, make Auroradon, and then Duke out the Piper, reveal 4, and then make Baron. That's like also a super like risky combo, which I mean you could be like super inclined to take that here.
Yeah. Wait, actually, like, but in general, just like, I mean, don't reveal Piper.
Don't reveal Piper.
I like the like Tekatombok is a good reveal, I think, because even if you just don't have anything yet for like the Duke is gonna be alive in combination with the dog because dog can next turn put back the Takatombok, get you a cork, and then the Duke can revive the cork. This way you kind of have double follow up, right? And you can just go into Auroradon, add back gate. So in the end you will have 5 disruptions, right?
Yeah.
So it's nice, but I usually banish a 5 and then I reveal a Marble Machine. I think like a lot of people want to get the. I mean, obviously getting Terratop is the best here because you can go for the whole cork line and then
Yeah.
and then go for. Actually, I would go for Shenshen into Baron with this hand, like because we have non-wind hand traps.
Yep.
Yeah, but if we get the Marble Machine.
Well, 1, 2, 3 marble and see what we get. We do not get the marble.
Now it's literally the Terratop line. That's pretty much what people play when they reveal Yo-Yo and Terratop.
Yeah, it's yeah.
Yeah,
So like
but if you
I just think it goes to show that like you definitely don't need the yo-yo in the deck. Like
yeah,
there's good
exactly.
valid
This is what I'm
lines without
trying
it.
to show right now. You don't need the yo-yo because in a hand like this, where you really only have a one-cut starter like Dog, and it's really just a one-cut starter because once you have a Duke or Piper, you add Wheel and you start right. You
Yeah,
start completely differently. So it's really mostly you're gonna have a one-cut starter with 4 defensive cards.
exactly.
And this is the Speedroid one-cut combo. At this point, you have so many defensive cards that you just care about getting into your engine. You just want to see more engine. You just want to get deeper into the deck. And at that point, the one-cut Marble Machine combo doesn't end on any disruption, but you go for Piper Excavate 2 starters charge, draw 1. And if you draw more defensive cards, then you actually yeah, then that's good. Then you have 5 defensive cards. But what you want to see is more engine. And if you see something like a recovery, you can bring back the Piper, then actually have a Baron and have the maximum amount of follow up with Cavalry and Terratop in the grave
Hmm.
and Dog.
Yeah, yeah, 100%.
So yeah.
Because
So
like,
this is just like alternatives to Yo-Yo.
mhm, yeah, because like there's definitely upsides to the yo-yo play, but like in a situation like this, if we're starting with Hound, and like Hound, I feel like in scenarios where like if I do have like a one card, like one starter and that's it, like this weird scenario that we have here, like Hound is so good because it
Mhm.
doesn't burn our. And I saw this in another profile on another channel. I forget the name, but the way the guy said it is that like Hound and Marble are both one card rubber band shooters, but Hound is different in the fact that it doesn't burn your really good extenders like Tekatomborg or Car Turbo in order to get there.
Yeah.
Because in some
Yeah.
hands, like we even saw slightly in the last hand with the Gryphon Rider, that can be detrimental. Yes, like but people are like, oh, you're burning your once per duel duplicate effect, but like duplicate, I feel like its graveyard effect is not high up on the chain of like priority as things like Takatomborg or Car Turbo. So like burning it that early to get into Rubber Band Shooter, I think is totally fine, especially now that it opens us up to this line here where we're banishing a 5. And like getting us a Marble gets us a play, which is really good. Getting Terratop also gets us a play, and it allows us to like completely remove double yo-yo from the deck, which is a card that like I'd rather draw, Hound in a hand like this than double yo-yo, because if I draw double yo-yo, I'm not playing. Whereas if I see Hound, I can play. And I still have plays to make without the double yo-yo in the deck to begin with.
Thing I recommend to people is when you start like siding out a specific card every single game going second, then you should consider just like how does your deck work without that card if you side it out every time, because then
Yeah.
that slot could be a card that is in your side deck and then you free a side deck slot. And that's exactly what I did with Yo-Yo. So I saw Yo-Yo is terrible going second. I side it out every time. Does the deck work without it? Yeah, it kind of does. Obviously, there are situations where you would love to have Yo-Yo. It's
Mhm.
true, but it's kind of a win harder card. You need to get to Rubber Band Shooter and you need to get to the point where you resolve the second effect. And that's pretty
Mhm.
linear, like in a way.
Yep.
So, but since I sided out Yo-Yo so much, I was like, okay, I can just put like one of these news from my side deck into the main deck, cut the Yo-Yo, and now I have one more slot for an evenly matched, or one more slot for whatever, for a card that actually like has a high impact, you know?
Mhm. That was like the same thing too. When I saw your side deck too, you had the gammas in there with the driver, and you said that you sided out speed recovery, and I was like, like siding out speed recovery going second a lot of times makes like a lot of sense, because like what would you rather have going against a deck like Tri Brigade Lyralus? Would you rather have a speed recovery, or would you rather have gamma? Like, or even against a deck like Live Twin that's not as threatening. Like if you gamma their normal summon, like, and they don't have home plus another extender, like they just pass
Mm,
turn. And like having
mm,
that power going second, and having like once you start to learn the deck more and you start to see like all the cards that actually can be sided out, And people might argue like the consistency thing, but like so long as you're not siding out your 10 to 11, whatever starters, like your deck is just as consistent going into games 2 and 3,
Yeah,
which is what
and I
matters the most. And then having those going second cards is so second to none with the way the meta is right now, because if you don't see one, or if you don't even see two hand traps against a lot of the best decks, like you're not going to be able to break the board. Like you
Yeah,
just need
and
to
if
have
it's
those
low
cards.
impact hand traps and the hand is good, then they often can even like make even Speedroid and with a good hand like we had before, like we can play through two low impact hand traps.
Yeah,
Like
100%.
Ash Imperm and still go like two disruptions or something, right?
Mm.
And I think like speed recovery was is such an obvious one to me because I mean the card needs setup, like and we have cards like Marble Machine is a pendulum for some reason, so it will never hit the grave.
Mm.
Takatombo can't be brought back. So it needs setup, and going second, it's less likely that you get to this setup.
Yep.
And obviously the follow up, the going first, it's such a broken card. Like you're gonna get a big reveal of Piper. Sometimes you can grab a recovery. Like in this hand right now, you go for the Marble Machine, go for like the draw two with Piper and Stardust Charge. If you hit a recovery, you can just upgrade your Stardust Charge into a Baron, and then you get the insane follow up. It's so good going first, but going second, like what do you need the follow up for turn 5? But most games, how it's nowadays, there is no turn 5. So
Yeah. And either that or they're going to have an interruption that they were able to make that's going to stop the recovery from even resolving anyways in the graveyard. Like, it's just not going to make it too big of a difference. And, like, Gamma's just so good. So good. And I guess one other thing we'll talk about now, too, and this is something I feel like people might still be on, is, like, and at the end of the day, like, I don't want to say I'm, like the end all be all when it comes to like how you want to play your Speedroid deck. At the end of the day, like if you want to play Hasty Horse, if you want to play Scratch and Win, like by all means go for it. We're just putting out like the things that we know and the things that we know from experience and like playing the deck this way. And at least
and
trying to
we
play it
also
competitively too. Like it changes how you play the deck.
yeah
Um
yeah
but like the one
and
thing I wanted to bring up is like is the E-tele thing. But go ahead. What
all right,
you were saying something.
Italy is interesting. Yeah, no, I mean like yeah, it's also a thing of preference, right? Like
Mhm.
every player has like their type of play style. I really like this like mid-range, kind of almost this is like a salad, like
Yeah.
right, this stronger salad. I feel like
Mhm.
stronger than salad is right now. Like salad is not so good right
Yeah, I would agree with that. And I think it works so much better when you're not putting all your eggs in one basket and then Dark Ruler no more and Droplet says hello and then you just lose on the spot. But yeah, so E-tele, E-tele Nyan was something that um I originally, when Synchro Storm first released, was something I was like, this is definitely getting cut from the main deck.
now.
Like I was, and you saw my build, the way I was playing it. Like if you could put a name on the type of deck, I would have called it Terratop Turbo, because I was playing Win, I was playing Small World. I wanted to make the big build-a-board end boards like Baron, double
Yeah.
Crystal Wing,
Yeah, this is what I saw everywhere. Also, the play was always special Terrortop, attack a Tomborg, tag out into dice, go for
Yep.
an early cork. But then, if you get nipped on the fifth summon, it's so hard to come back
It is
because
so crippling.
you,
It is
you
100%.
burned you burned through cork, through Takatomborg, and through Terrortop. Like even if you still have your normal summon, normal the Marble Machine at the car, what are you gonna do? You literally burn through everything in your deck already. So even if this play doesn't take up your normal summon, what are you really gonna do with your normal summon?
Hmm. Yeah, it's a totally valid point. Like it works great if you go interrupted, but like if you're always thinking about going interrupted, then you're living in fairy tale land. Because like you're gonna get interrupted. And I remember specifically too, like the rubber band shooters felt so fragile. I remember specifically one matchup that was in One Deck 1 month. I forget what episode it was, but I was playing against my friend on Prank Kids, and he had known like nothing about speedroids. The only thing he knew was Imperm on the Link 2 is good. He had Imperm on the Link 2 every single game, And games 1 and 2, because I got 2-0'd, spoiler alert. Even game 1, when I opened what I thought at the time was like one of the best 2-card combos you could open in the deck, and that was Win plus Duke. Win plus Duke could end you on some really, really good boards. That is if you go uninterrupted. And getting hit on that rubber band shooter literally ended my turn every single time. It was so incredibly rough. And it was such an eye-opener, too, after that point, like from that point on.
You know what I saw in a yeah, it's rough. It's really rough. Like I think the Auroradon is almost. I mean, if you want to play through hand traps, I think Auroradon is mandatory.
Yeah.
It's still very strong. What I saw in a different like replay, somebody I always thought like I don't know like Yu-Gi-Oh players and reading cards, but
Yeah.
I always thought Auroradon locks you out of summoning Link monsters, but it's locks you out of Link summoning, which is a huge difference.
Yep.
So even like it's like even if you we had the combo before where you where you dump the Terra Top with wheel and then you revive it with recovery and then you have a play through Nibiru.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need wheel for that. You don't need to hit Terra Top into the grave. You can also add Terra Top, go into Auroradon, and then try to pressure them. And then after you get Nibiru, you can still recovery on the rubber band shooter that you used before and use the normal summon afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
And this is something that I started doing like more often now. Like I always have now keep in mind after Auroradon I can still like recovery the rubber band shooter and then summon even a Duke from my hand, even a Piper from my hand, even a Dice from my hand.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that is a very good thing to keep in mind. I actually did that yesterday. In tournament. I was going for a game, and I had already resolved a word on that turn, and I had a recovery, and I needed to recovery something back with like literally a 500 or more attack to make a game. And I had like a slew of different options. I had like a rubber band playing, but I went for the rubber band shooter because I'm like, if something happens, like if he has some trap or something that can stop one of the attacks from going through to make it not game, like I have the rubber band shooter follow up, to keep playing in main phase 2. So that is a good thing to note. That
really cool. It's really cool. Yeah. What were we talking?
Yeah, so I wanted to talk about the E-tele. And I'll say something on it first, and then you can say something on it. What I started to realize, and like my brother had some beautiful ultimate rare E-teles to let me borrow, and I was like super gung ho on playing the E-tele. I had the secret rare Nyan. I'm like, this feels really good when you see the E-tele. Obviously, it doesn't feel good when you see the Nyan, but of course, you could search out Wheel and you can pitch it to the graveyard, and it's a great double extender sometimes. But when you start to like, play the deck with something like Primitive Butterfly, or in this case, coming up soon, the Wandering Gryphon Rider, like E-tele is just it might as well just be like 9 in your hand. You're just like getting it out of the deck for free. So it's like, they're basically one and the same card. Because like E-tele like doesn't do anything without the target in deck to summon. So when you replace it with Primitive Butterfly, it's basically the same thing. And it has more synergy too because of its like the levels with like butterfly and everything, and then you also remove like the brick from the main deck.
Yeah.
So it's such a win-win either way when you cut the E-tele and you cut the Nyan. Yes, in those times where everything's working out in your favor, it is a double extender. You can synchro with it being a non-tuner. You can bring it back later. You can chain block like Terror Tops and stuff with it, but like consistency is king at the end of the day. And when you can remove a brick in the main deck when we already have cards in the deck we don't really want to draw, like in some hands we don't want to draw Duke, we don't want to see Piper and Red Eye die, we don't want to see too many normal summons in the opening hand because we're already, playing a lot of normal summons. So like getting to cut a card like that from the main deck, if it means making it more consistent and then replacing it with a better extender or more going second card, it's just absolutely a win-win.
I pretty much came to the exact same conclusion. When I showed you the E-tele package, it was also like I was like, whenever I figure out like a new tech or something cool, then I really enjoy playing it, and I play it for a bunch of days, and I see all the cool things I can do. I get another extender at the end of the combo, and my boards are even a little bit better at the end. But The Gryphon Rider. And the Gryphon Rider, I think, does it even better than the Butterfly. Gryphon Rider literally with 13 cards in your deck, even with the Dukes, with 15 cards in your deck, you can make an early Baron. I mean,
Yeah.
not always you can do something afterwards, so sometimes it's not even worth doing the early Baron. But like with all of your starters, including Terratop, obviously, with all of your Speedroid extenders except Plane, and with the Dukes, you can make an early Crystal Baron. And just like having this protection, and like you said, not playing a brick, it's just so much better than the E-tele package. I'm not gonna go back to it anytime soon.
Yeah. I was low key thinking, I'm like, what if, because I feel like E-tele is coming back to 3 in the next list, but like even then, if there was 3 E-tele, I feel like.
Now we're talking. Now we're
uh
back a bit. I'm gonna play E-tele. This is how I started the deck. Like, I started Speedroids like really weird. It was Nyan and Car came out about at the same time.
mhm.
Were released as manga promos. They were still OCG exclusive, and I was like, "This is the next BA." I was like, "Nyan is level 3, comes back, and you can overlay it for Totem Bird or for Gossip Shadow, and keep reusing it every single turn."
Mhm.
Duke revives. Car is a free extender. Terratop is a free special. Takatombok is a free extender. Then I played it with the what was it, with Simorgh cards, with the Simorgh level 3 wind monster. I was basically playing an Xyz deck with some link monster, including like the big Simorgh bird.
Mhm.
So for me, like, Yan is how I started Speedroid. This is like the first card that got me into Speedroid. So if E-tele comes back at 3, I'm definitely kind of gonna play her for a bit.
Okay.
It's just
That's
like
that's
a
fair.
personal
That's
favorite
fair.
for
That's
me.
totally fair. 100%. Yeah. Because like
Yeah.
I could see E-tele coming back to 3 like
I don't know
100%.
if they're gonna do it.
I think they will. I think they will.
Yeah. I maybe. Have you seen the new TCG exclusive?
Um
It got
w-
released, I think, 2 or 3 days ago.
is it the psychic synchro?
No, it's a Psychic level 3 monster. It's a TCG exclusive. It's a secret rare for the next set.
Oh,
It's
is
the
it
first card.
the Libromancer?
Yeah, it's kind of like a JoJo card.
Yeah, yeah, I think I might have seen it, yeah.
It's a wind level 3 E-tele target, by the way, and it has an effect when it's special summon or normal summon. You can add like a spell card from the archetype. We don't know what the spell cards do or the trap cards, but
Oh.
it looks like it's probably a better. If any of these spell or traps are good, then it might be, or if any of these spell or traps are at least not bricks, then it might be even a better E-tele target than Yan.
Gotcha. Well, yeah, no, I didn't even see that. That could definitely be worth. Because I thought I saw some like psychic monster that got revealed. I thought it was like called like Libromancer, Geek Boy or
Yeah,
something.
something like that. I don't
And
know.
yeah, I think you can reveal, or what's it say? If this card is special, you can add one. Yeah, Libromancer spell from your deck to your hand. Yeah, so whatever that is, yeah, that could
Whatever
totally.
that is, might be cool.
Hmm.
Yeah, and we don't know. Maybe the rest of the deck is wind.
Oh yeah,
So
maybe. Nothing makes me more excited than seeing wind support because splashable support could easily make its way into this deck and
yeah,
in a very
exactly.
impactful way.
Literally just a body. It's literally just a body.
Hmm. Well, I
All
think
right.
we've pretty much covered everything I think we wanted to talk about, unless there's something else you wanted to add in.
No, I think I don't know. I think I'm good for today.
Yeah,
We talked a lot right
yeah, we've
now.
been going for over 2 hours, I believe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
There's like so much to talk about with it, but
mhm,
maybe
yeah.
for another, right? Maybe
Mhm.
for another.
But yeah, thank you for doing this video with me. I really appreciate that.
Pleasure always.
And I'm sure everybody, like I said earlier at the beginning, like super pumped about this collab. I've been wanting to do something like this for a long time. So yeah, thank you to everybody who watched all the way through. Let me know in the comments if you watched the whole video. Of course, huge shout outs to Aerosol. Not even need to be said. I'll leave a link to his channel, of course, in the description. If you guys haven't seen some of his videos, definitely go check him out. The editing is on point. Very, very informative. Very, very smart player. Great deck builder. Awesome guy. So definitely go over there, check some of his stuff out, and you guys will hopefully see some videos from him in the future. I mean, hopefully, right?
Fingers crossed.
Yep, fingers crossed. I'm waiting for a new Aerosol video too. But thank you guys so much for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed. Click on one of the videos popping up on the bottom of the screen right now. And as always, guys, we'll see you in the next one. And last but not least, a special shout out goes to our Divine Level channel members, and they are Cadillacs84, Pony Start, Keith Sidgers, Tweeter0226, and Black Ninja Money. Thank you guys so much as always for your extremely generous support of the channel.